Well, let's talk about Canada.
Canada sucks because it's cold.
Yeah, let's talk about Canada. Name one good person from Canada.
Bryan Adams. Is he Canadian?
Even if he was, I wouldn't say he was good.
I don't know if he was. Well,
I mean, they got some stuff.
what? You ever driven a Canadian car?
I don't think there's one made.
Bob and Nate, true American heroes.
Want to do the intro? You want me to?
Yeah, you do the intro. This is your show.
All right, I'll take it from here. Welcome to the Uneducated Men Podcast. We are two 40-year-old men who wake up every woodless morning wondering what could have been had our 20s not been filled with endless booze and women. We punch a clock for a soulless corporation who we make way too much money for to only receive a small fraction. This podcast, we talk about stuff that impacts our lives and the things that we like, such as sports, gambling, money, stock market, politics, and women. We'll even discuss things that aggravate us, like Canada, and especially women. We hope you enjoyed this podcast, but truly don't give a rat's ass if you don't. Speaking of rat's ass, I'd like to introduce you to my co-host. He grew up on a Minnesota frozen farm shoveling turkey shit 10 miles from the Canadian border. This explains the nerdiness and goofy accent. A lifelong Minnesota Vikings fan who never really understood what winning was until he met me. This man is the living definition of having peaked in high school. A small-town hero, quarterback for Polk High who once scored 4 touchdowns in a single game. He is now living in Vegas, selling women's shoes. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, please welcome the real-life Al Bundy, Nathaniel Hedlund.
All right. Yeah, that's good. All right, guys. Well, welcome to the very first episode of Uneducated Men, which my colleague Robert has given you the rundown of the premise of our show. The podcast where two unqualified smart Alecs tackle life's biggest questions with zero credentials and even less shame. And speaking of zero shame, please welcome my co-host, the man who makes illiteracy look stylish, Robert Conlon. This legend turned dyslexia into a lifestyle. Robert doesn't read books. He just stares at them until the letters get tired and rearrange themselves. His own book sold so poorly, it basically became performance art. Even his ex-boyfriend bought 3 copies just to keep it off the discontinued list. You'll always spot Robert from a mile away because the man's dressed like he's about to ride the Kentucky Derby. Tiny trousers, high shocks, and a shirt that says, "I peaked in Pony Club." Dude, we're doing a podcast, not the Grand National. He thinks he's the greatest pickleball player alive. Robert struts onto the court like he's Federer with a paddle, then gets absolutely rinsed by retirees. His hand-eye coordination is so bad his giant nose shows up 5 minutes early just to scout out the humiliation. Robert had to quit drinking because every time he had a few, he'd lose his mind and start texting numbers from the bathroom stall at 2 a.m. Now he's sober, single, and still somehow can't find a woman who will put up with his tiny jockey outfits and dad-level jokes. Big nose, big ego, 0 wins, and a dating profile drier than his book sales. Ladies and gentlemen, the walking typo, the aspiring jockey, the pickleball delusionist, and our favorite uneducated man, Robert Conlon.
Holy shit, that was a long intro, but I do appreciate you buying those 3 books.
Wait a second, we never dated before. What are you talking about? I'm not your ex-boyfriend.
These jokes are going to come fast. You better be ready.
That's fair point. Our sponsors today is the delicious Truly from Sam Adams Boston Brewing Company.
Let's jump right into it. Last night there was a shooting at the White House Correspondents' Dinner. The right will tell you it was an assassination attempt on a president. The left will tell you it was just a shooting at the dinner. As someone who voted for Trump twice, what is your opinion on last night's events?
I thought the left didn't like guns.
I think they're just worried they might fall into the wrong hands, like yours or mine or the police officers. But a psychopath that wants to bum rush the president, I think they're okay with.
Yeah, there's a progressive party. He progressed right through that line of security guards and got tackled immediately. But Trump took it pretty well. I mean, he got ushered backstage, came back out, and try to explain to the crowd why we can't be more unified. And I think that some will say that Trump is an extremist and pushing everybody off to one side, but maybe he's showing his true colors last night and trying to unify the nation, at least the people in that room last night.
Although it's sad, it's not something new. 4 presidents have been assassinated while in office. 2, 3 have been shot at, or actually shot. Reagan comes to the top of my mind. Even Biden had people that went after him. I mean, we live in a sick-ass society where people can't just disagree. It's, if I disagree with you, you're bad, and I'm going to shoot you. That's just sad.
Was it a sign, though, last night that J.D. Vance got ushered out before Trump?
That's because they know he's going to be the next president.
Is that a little... That's what I was getting at, yeah.
I stole your thunder a little bit, huh? You got to be faster.
Damn it.
I'll tell you what does surprise me, though, is the amount of idiots that go online right after something like this happens and post something stupid like, I can't believe they missed, or be a better aim next time. Then they get exposed. They try to block or hide their account. But by then, the damage is done. Their employer finds out, and next thing you know, they're unemployed.
Or there's that bar in Wisconsin saying that everybody drinks free if Trump was dead.
Where that guy is a business owner, the only people that can cancel him are his actual customers. He's probably not going to fire himself. These dumbasses that are online are usually a teacher, a nurse, a government employee, and they always get fired. And then they're shocked. And then they come out and be like, oh my God, you violated my First Amendment right.
Well, the sign on that bar owner's door in Wisconsin said the least popular spot in town, something along those lines. So obviously he's looking for that niche to be hated.
You never know where he lives. That could be good publicity. They say there's no such thing as bad publicity. I don't know if that's true, but if you live in a blue county, maybe that's going to get you sales.
Yeah. Anyway, I'd still vote for Trump today. So
given the option of a potato and then they put the hyena in there, I don't know if you had another option.
Do you think Kamala is less annoying in person? Like on camera, it's unbearable to even watch and to listen to. I have to change the channel, but in real life, is she a real person that can actually hold a conversation?
I think the better question is, do you want to have a conversation with her?
And I guess let's go the other way. Like, is Kamala bearable to listen to in person, but does Trump have a better vocabulary in person than when he's on camera? Because when he's on camera, everything's amazing, everything's perfect. But in person, I bet you can actually hold a conversation that's intelligent.
I don't know, man. I think Trump is Trump. I think the person you see on camera is the person you see behind the camera. The man says some dumb shit, but I think he believes that. I honestly think he's the only president in my lifetime that he said something, and I believe him that he believes it. Where other politicians, they're just trying to get votes. Now, there's a difference between lying and believing stupid shit. And I think that's where you kind of fall with Trump. All right, let's pivot here. Let's talk a little bit about NASA going to the moon, and while they were up there taking pictures of Uranus.
My favorite subject.
Is it really?
No, I know nothing about it, but I'm uneducated anyway, so let's talk about it.
Well, NASA recently sent astronauts back into space to orbit the moon. They didn't actually land there. And this is the first time in 50 or 60 years, I'm not exactly sure which, but
you're a couple years behind, but yeah. But yeah, I believe it was 6 years.
The question for you, Headland, is do you believe the original Apollo mission actually landed on the moon?
That's a debatable question right there, Bob. I mean, I've thought about it both ways. That would have been such a hard trick to pull on everybody 6 years ago.
You keep saying 6. It's 60 or 50. I'm not exactly sure, but I know it's definitely not 6. However, I have to agree with you on this one. I believe the Russians would have called us out a long time ago in the middle of the Cold War. That's tough because conspiracy theories generally are crazy as shit, and then they get proven right. The question I have is, why did it take 60 years to go back, or 6 in your dog years.
Well, I guess the other question is too, why don't we land on the moon since we got all the way there? Instead of doing a U-turn around the dark side just to, I guess, close the gap on some lyrics by The Doors. Why wouldn't we just, who is it?
I think you mean Pink Floyd, bro.
Pink Floyd, there you go. They were big fans of The Doors. All right, so you go all the way out there for the first time in 60 years. Why don't we land?
Probably for the same reason you drive by your ex-girlfriend's house and never stop.
No, I got a Russian Molotov that I'm about to throw out the window. But, yeah, I don't know.
Folks, I promise you these jokes are going to get much better. Nate, what do we got next?
I don't know. Let's talk about Mike Vrabel.
This is a dangerous topic. Do you sure you want to go into it?
I don't know. Is he coming underneath too much fire? I mean, he's not the only coach to ever do that.
He's not the first guy to have an affair. Probably not even the first coach.
Yeah.
I mean, his owner got a handy not too long ago.
I would assume that's why he still has a job there.
The amount of press that this is getting is absolutely ridiculous. This is a personal matter, and it's getting blown up to where he's got to miss the third day of the draft, and it's like it's a big deal. He's trying to save his family. The man fucked up. It happens. But I think we just need to let the guy live.
It's more popular now than probably the White House shooting attempt last night.
It's bananas. This lady lost her job over this shit.
Well, I mean, let's back up here a little bit. She is no longer employed, but she did resign in lieu of all this stuff coming out. She was trying to do some damage control, but that was on her accord. Was she going to get fired? Maybe, but we weren't given that opportunity.
I'm not really a fan of people losing their jobs because they had an affair or something they did that nobody really knows about. It's not like they were out flaunting it. They got busted in Arizona. Now, this sucks for him and her. They're both married, and it sucks for their family. But to lose your job over it, I'm not sure how I feel about that.
It's pretty savage, though, that she names her kid Michael after probably the real dad.
Oh shit! I didn't know that. That's pretty awful for her husband if that's true. Look, these marriages are over. He's going to try to attempt to save it. He can't save it. It's done. There's a difference between having an affair and, cheating on your wife. Both of them are bad, don't get me wrong. But cheating on your wife because you go out with the fellas and have a couple drinks, and you go out to the parking lot with a girl who's going to do some things that your wife only does for you on your birthday, but she kind of skipped the last couple birthdays, versus taking your mistress to Arizona. Big difference. So now he's going to go to therapy and he's going to try to save his marriage. But he can't save his marriage because the root cause will never be addressed. And the root cause of the affair was he did not want to be married anymore. But more importantly, he didn't want to give up his kids or his money, so he had the affair. And this is why married men have an affair. If you could tell a married man he could get a divorce, keep all his money, and spend just as much time with his kids, and they wouldn't be affected. As a matter of fact, they could be even happier with the divorce. 50% of the men in the world would be divorced tomorrow.
Are you saying his career is over?
No, he just went to the Super Bowl and he's got Drake May as a quarterback. I think his career is going to be just okay. His marriage is definitely over.
But how could his marriage be over? He skipped day 3 of the draft for therapy, so it's got to come back better than ever, right? Yeah, okay. I thought therapy fixed all.
I gave him better odds of going back to the Super Bowl than this marriage being fixed.
Yeah, I foresee this being a Tiger Woods situation. But they'll fall on their feet. They'll be fine.
Who's going to be fine? The wife will be fine once she gets past this because she's going to get half of everything. This man's going to lose half his fortune for some ugly-ass reporter. Now, the question I have for you is, why in the world, with the exception of some tax benefit, would any man ever truly want to get married?
I think you just named them all right there.
I am a single man, which means I've failed at every relationship I've ever been in. You, my friend, are a married man, which means you have one more successful relationship than a complete loser. I was watching the Hulk Hogan documentary.
There's dyslexic Bob.
Fuck off. Anyway, Hulk Hogan was talking about how he was going through a divorce. It was the lowest point in his life. He was almost 60 years old, and he had to go back into wrestling because she was taking $40,000 a month in alimony. $40,000 a month. This man broke his body to give his wife the greatest life she probably could have ever had. And then she wanted more. So it makes absolutely no sense. No sense whatsoever why any man would want to get married.
Yeah, I mean, at one point in time when you had a population of 10 people for every 100 square miles, you had to find that that partner to help you hunt and gather, whatever else. But in today's age, isn't really necessary.
Well, hold on. Did you just say hunt and gather?
Well, the men would hunt and the women would gather.
What would they actually gather?
The shit that we would hunt. No, I'd go shoot a rabbit and they'd go gather them. By shoot, I guess shoot with my stick that I launched. I don't know.
Shoot like a bow and arrow?
I'm guessing it was a stick before an arrow.
I'm guessing it was a tree before it was a stick.
Either way, they'd have to go gather them.
As a happily married man, I'm really setting you up here, so sorry about that.
But it's a wonderful thing.
It's not a wonderful thing for the Vrabel family who's going to try to repair something that they will not be able to.
I mean, is he the one that can't repair it? Or let's look at her side. Like, she has a fucking kid with the guy and pretended it was her husband's for 4 years. Is she able to survive out of that? I can't.
No, her marriage is over. It's been over since the very beginning. No man's going to stay with her. If she had another kid with a football coach, you just won't hear about it because they're not going to get the headlines that Vrabel gets.
Now, would it be taboo that these two in 2 years are now married or dating or together?
It will never happen. He's not going to give up his kids for her. And that would be the cost if he did want to pursue this relationship. That's why he's in therapy today, because he's not willing to give up his money or his kids without a fight.
Well, I'm going to go on to my, damn it, what's that app to where you can bet on, like it's stock?
Tinder.
No.
Robinhood prediction markets.
The prediction market, yeah. The one that's hot in the news. I mean, obviously we'll edit all of this, but are you hearing feedback of yourself when you talk? Man, it's really hard to concentrate when you hear yourself talk. It's really fucking hard.
I think all 10 people listening to this podcast will agree that it's hard to listen to you talk.
Now, when I'm talking and I hear myself talking and to put together another thought, it's very difficult.
No, yeah, I get it. It's like walking and chewing gum. It's just really hard to do two things at once. I can see how you're struggling with it.
You really don't struggle with it? Oh, fuck. Okay.
If it makes you feel better, we'll just tell people that I also have a problem with it.
Stop acting like a retard, dude.
Whoa. I don't think you can say that word anymore.
I just did.
You can't say it. You can say retarded, the adjective version, when talking about somebody or something, but you can't use the noun version. That's not allowed anymore.
But if somebody that is a tard or acts like a tard multiple times, that's a retard.
Of the bad jokes that have been told here today, that is quite possibly, without question, the worst of them all.
That was a good punchline. I like it.
Okay, let's talk about Canada.
Yeah, let's talk about Canada. Name one good person from Canada.
What about Bryan Adams? Wait, was he even Canadian?
Even if he was, I wouldn't say he was good. I mean, they got some stuff.
Good stuff like what? Have you ever even seen a Canadian car?
I don't think there's one made.
Even shitty-ass Yugoslavia had a car. Remember the Yugo? Think about it. You ever seen a Canadian computer, phone, TV, anything whatsoever? The only thing good they had was hockey, and we took that from them. We've dominated them. Canada hasn't won a Stanley Cup since 1989. The question to you is, do you think of the 3 teams that made it into the playoffs this year that Canada has a shot to win the Stanley Cup?
Yeah, that sounds about right. Edmonton would be probably the best team to do it, but they've been skunked the last couple of years.
As of the time of this recording, Edmonton is currently down 2-1. Ottawa's about to get bounced, and Montreal is up 2-1.
Which they, even if they make it past this round, they're not getting much further than that.
All right, let's assume Ottawa gets bounced. Both the other teams make it through. Canada now has a 25% chance of winning the Stanley Cup. Nate, does it happen?
No, not a fucking chance. No,
And when the greatest country in the world brings home the Stanley Cup yet again, you know all the Canadians are going to say, all our players are Canadians.
Yeah. Yeah, every single time.
And that's all those Canadians living here.
I mean, if I grew up in Canada, I wouldn't want to live there either.
All right, Headlands, 2 p.m. on Sunday. What bets you got right now?
Actually, I got nothing. I drained my William Hill account yesterday, so I got to re-ante up. So I had some bad luck in gaming, some Georgian basketball the other day from the country Georgia. Yep. And then I bet on some Czech hockey that I thought I had a lock in, but as soon as I made the bet, it went backwards. So, yeah, back down to 0. So, got to ante up.
First time?
No, yeah, first time in a long time.
Well, that sucks, but make sure you have some bets next week for episode 2.
Talk it through. Yeah. You don't want to talk about probably one of the most boring NFL drafts that have happened in the last decade.
I'll be honest with you. I didn't really watch. No real star power this year.
I mean, Fernando Mendoza, great on the camera, undefeated season, won the national championship for Indiana, mind you. Does he have what it takes? Does he have the gusto that, you know, you'd expect in a number 1 draft pick quarterback? But then who after that was notable?
Some say it was the weakest draft in recent memory. So bad that a running back went number 3. Running back's something you pick up in the second round.
I mean, Arizona State had a wide receiver go in the first 15 picks.
Yeah.
That says a lot for you as far as the talent level of wide receivers in this draft class. But as a Vikings fan with a notorious or a disastrous defense, well, I guess I can't say that. Our offense has been so bad that the defense looks bad, but I think the first 4 picks were all defensive players.
The Vikings' first 4 picks, you mean?
For the Vikings, yeah. And then I think the only offensive position they drafted was for a fullback. I didn't even know fullbacks were still in the fucking league.
I'd rather draft a fullback later in the rounds than running back in the first.
Good point.
The Vikings had a really good offense. The quarterback sucked, but you had Hawkinson, Addison, Jefferson. Holy shit, you guys got a lot of sins.
Oh, that's Minnesota. There's Erickson, Larson, Olsen, Christensen. I mean, we got them all.
As for Mendoza, I don't know if he has the it factor that you look for in a number 1, but I do know he probably has the best mentor and one of the best quarterbacks that you know, named Kirk Cousins, who is one of your favorites.
I'm not a fan. Kirk, if you're listening, which I'm sure you are, you can go jump into the Bellagio fountains with some bricks tied around your feet as much as I care.
Oh, 100%. Kurt is definitely listening. Kurt, listen, we don't want you to go jump in the Bellagio fountains.
No, we do. I'm sure you're driving from church right now. Pass by the Bellagio. Go for a dunk. Piece of crap.
What is it that you specifically don't like about Cousins? He's a winner. He gets his hair cut at great clips. He wears cool chains, and everybody likes him.
Have you ever watched the movie Kingpin?
Yes.
Kirk Cousins, to me, is a modern-day Roy Munson. A loser. I don't think he's won anything.
Yeah, but Roy Munson ended up being the winner and getting the hot chick at the end of the movie.
No, he didn't. He lost. I'll tell you what he did do. He got a lot of money, just like Kirk Cousins does. Yeah. Yeah, he's got a girl and probably a couple more. Who knows? I don't want to say that he's like a Mike Vrabel, but I'm sure he is. He didn't win and got paid out. He's Roy Munson. Now, the reason I don't like him is he followed up a NFC championship runner-up team with Case Keenum as quarterback. And granted, he's not a thoroughbred quarterback in the pros. His size isn't there. He can get outside the pocket, but they bring on Kirk Cousins for $84 million, a 4-year deal. At that time was a lot of money, and they missed the playoffs the following year. Like, the guy he doesn't know how to win.
Well, first of all, Kirk Cousins was a better quarterback than Case Keenum, and that's why Case Keenum has never made it anywhere else, and Kirk Cousins continues to get paid to this day. But there's other things to that. The team let him down, and he gets too much credit when you're a quarterback, but at the same time, you get too much blame. Kirk was a good quarterback. I think you're being too hard on him.
Yeah, when it's 3rd and long, you drop back, fumble the ball 5 yards from the end zone, they score on us. It's frustrating to watch.
Okay, Kirk Cousins sucks. Who's your favorite Vikings quarterback?
Of all time?
Yeah, you're in your mid-40s, so somebody that you've actually seen, not like Fran Tarkenton or Sid Lichtman or some shit like that. Like, who do you think was a good quarterback for the Minnesota Vikings?
Some of the greatest that we've had were recycled quarterbacks from, previous great teams. So Brett Favre, I'll say, was a great Viking. Took us to the NFC Championship as well. Second year wasn't as successful, but still he was a baller. Randall Cunningham had some of the best seasons with Minnesota. Warren Moon.
Warren
Huh?
Moon was a Viking?
Warren Moon was a Viking, yeah. That's where he finished the season after he came back from the CFL. Well, I take that back. He retired and then came back.
Now, if these are your best quarterbacks, then it's got to be tough being a Minnesota Vikings fan.
Let's just call that a Minnesota fan in general.
Yeah.
Go Lynx.
The Lynx have won a championship?
They're a dynasty team. They've won multiple WNBA championships. How'd you not know that?
I must have missed it.
The WNBA is the new college soccer.
I'm sure you know that I am actually a big fan of college soccer.
Right. That makes one of us.
On that note, I think we should wrap it up, my friend.
Do you want to do like a sign off or?
Go for it. Why don't you acknowledge one of our sponsors?
Shout out to our biggest sponsor, Watkins Foot and Ankle Clinic. Now, there's got to be a better word for that.
I can't think of a better word. Let's just wrap it up.
Thank you for listening to our first inaugural podcast, and look forward to the next. Thank you.
You forgot to say Watkins' first name.
Fuck Michael Watkins.